YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I want to compare two Swiss Army knives. One is the Esquire and the other one is the Victorinox Executive 81. Now, the Executive 81 is actually Victorinox's answer to the Esquire using basically the Delamont factory. Now, Victorinox purchased Wenger in 2005, and since then they have been using a few of their iterations as models for themselves. So this is the Executive 81. Don't get it confused at all with the Victorinox Executive. It's very different. The Wenger Esquire is a 65mm knife. The Victorinox Executive 81 is a 65mm knife. Now, the first thing I am going to cover as a difference here is the scale tools on the Wenger go inward, whereas the Victorinoxes are exposed on the exterior. The other part is the scales on the Wenger actually overlap the liners. And you actually get about 1.5 millimeters of thickness covering those liners. So without this, you really have quite a bit of tool and knife poking out of the side there if you happen to lose the scales. Now, for the Victorinox, actually meets the edge there. So personally, I find the Victorinox to be a little bit better, just because if you lose the scales, none of your tools are actually going to be poking out the side. On the Wenger, it's a discontinued model. Victorinox isn't making this anymore. But I actually prefer the Wenger only because the blade comes out away from the key ring. Now, on the Victorinox model, for some reason, Victorinox likes the blade to open, and I'm sorry this one's been used. I've been using it open packages, took it off my keys. This one here faces the key ring side. So for me, whenever I have these on my keys are all dangling over here, and I have to hold them along with the knife. Whereas when I had this on my keys are actually away from here, and I'm not really having anything inhibit my use of the handle. So personally, I find this to be a little bit of a better design. However, it falls short when it comes to the scissors. And the scissors are the same on the Victorinox also, because they're coming out of the Delamont factory. Now, I actually really do prefer the Victorinox scissors, but Victorinox doesn't really make a 65, so the closest thing to these is actually going to be your 58mm. I prefer the 58mm scissors only because, well, I like the construction better. When it comes to this integrated spring, it has a interesting system here, but when it comes to using this set of scissors, you cannot sharpen these as easily. Now, Victorinox and Wenger both claimed that these are self-sharpening scissors, and the only reason they do that is they use these serrations, and when they glide across one another, they get rid of a burr. And when it does that, it actually sharpens them. I don't really believe that, because personally, these have dulled out on me a little bit. All I'm able to really do is just take a ceramic rod and sharpen them this way. So personally, when it comes to sharpening the scissors, it doesn't really work that well, because on the standard Victorinox construction, you can actually take the scissors like this and then take them against a stone and actually sharpen each blade. So for me personally, you kind of lose out on the usability in the scissor department. The other thing that's bad is these can get kind of gummy. Because of this system, you actually have a locking system behind here. That's what this little divot here is. And because of that, it keeps these scissors in a locked position. When this is pushing this way, that little bead there or divot keeps this from going out that way. Now, what can happen is you can get gunk and dirt in that section there. Now, granted, Victorinox kind of fixed that with the newer ones, whereas it's open construction, but you can still get a bunch of grime in there, and it has gummed up on me before. Has also gotten stuck. I've tried using these and it just got stuck closed, and you kind of have to wiggle it, and then see it gets stuck closed when you're using it, and it just gets a little gummy. You see, just stays closed. There we go. So for me, you kind of lose a little bit of the usability, but the benefit I find is having the larger knife blade. Yes, it's 65 millimeters, but compared to a 58 millimeter knife, you get about 2 or 3 millimeters in usable length, which in a size of this caliber can make a difference. Now, when it comes to the nail files, the nail files are actually both the same. They're both very usable and very effective, and they can be used also as a small Phillips driver. But yet again, with the Wenger, your keys are going to be away from the knife or the nail cleaner. And with the Victorinox, your keys are going to be all hanging back here, and it's going to be a little hard to get your nails clean with your keys dangling all over the place. So personally, I think the Wenger did a great job and is a wonderful knife, but when it comes to getting these, you can't. I mean, they're discontinued. So if you're going to find one, you have to either find it pre-owned or new old stock. But when it comes to the Victorinox, you can still find these, and they're readily available. They're about $16, $17, and I actually find this one to be a little bit more usable than a 58 millimeter model. But are they as usable as like a 74 millimeter? I don't know. An Ambassador is basically this knife, but in 74 millimeters. So personally, I think these are a great option, but I think the Ambassador versus this might be a video later down the line. So I thought you guys would like to see this comparison. If you did like it, let me know down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you along for the ride. Until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.